Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the M44, the Tier 6 American SPG. This one's located on the south spawn of Erlenberg and it's under the command of Ianthony30678. Game on! Well, it looks like he's going to be heading across the bridge, or across the water. Oh, what's he doing? Has he changed his mind? Oh, he's turned to face the north. And, oh dear, the SU-100 fell into the river at one of the deep parts and is now having to desperately claw his way out before he drowns. Let's hope he does. Not drown. Yes, he made it out okay. Okay, Ianthony's going into his firing position. This is a 2 replay video. I don't know if you saw it, but that was Sir Rusty's skin on the M44, the one he designed for us years ago. Very nice it is too. Now the first enemy has come into sight. It's an MT-25 over on the west side of the battlefield near the castle, but we've lost sight of him. Oh, now we can see these two. And the first shot is a big hit. He got 154 off the KV-85 and 108 off the Tiger P, so he hit 2 tanks with 1 shot. Okay, another tank's made it through already. That's the Type 58, the Chinese version of the T-34-85. He can't get a shot on that KV-2 from where he's positioned at the moment, but he could probably hit the Type 58. And he does! Another direct hit, this time for 134. Now you'll notice Ianthony is actually changing position after each shot to avoid counter battery. Always helpful. Lining up a shot, rounds out. Hits the KV-85, 182 this time. The reload time for this RT standard reload would be 19 seconds, 19.08. But you can see that Ianthony has actually got quite a fast reload. He's got 15.83 and he is using premium consumables to speed up the reload, and it really does help, I can tell you. Rounds out in the KV-85 again, and this time he's lucky he gets a reprieve because the shell goes long under RNG. Okay, it's only the KV-85 there now. You can definitely hit him from here. But the shell goes long again. Okay, he's focusing on this middle road. That's why it's a very good idea to be over the other side of the river. And this time round, he doesn't hit the KV-85, hits the Tiger P. Okay, over on the other side we can see there's the number of enemy tanks over there, but it's very difficult to get shots on them at the moment because they're unspotted. Going for the SU-152, very narrow. He's right next door to the KV-85, so he opts to go for the KV-85 instead, and another 142 hit points. Okay, IKV-90B is over the other side next to the windmill. He's going to try and get that SU-152 this time. Rounds out, and you notice how he changes position whilst he's watching the enemy. It is possible to do that. In fact, this is what we recommend to players. We also recommend to players not to knock trees down because it does give the enemy a clue as to where you are. And now that they've changed the way Arty's played altogether, it's crucial that you don't give any clues to where you are exactly. He took out the ISU-152 with that shot. Oh, look at all these enemy tanks lined up for him. Rounds out. T-29 takes that one for 126. He's racking up the damage. He's just under 2k already. Okay, who's next? Looks like it's the IS-2 that's going to take next round. Rounds out. It falls well short. And you can see that he's stunned, which means probably the enemy Arty did actually fire at him, and most likely because he knocked those trees over, gave the enemy Arty a clue as to where he was. Okay, he's going to fire over to the east side of the map this time. He's going after the IKV-90B. Rounds out. And a direct hit. No explosion, so we know we touched him. Oh, he'd set light to them. The IKV was killed. He actually set him alight with that direct hit. And he burned up. Rounds out in the KV-2. Lands short and it does 87 hit points of damage. There goes the KV-2. Killed by the IS-2 shielded. Now, his next shot's going to be against the KV-85. Not fully dialed in yet. Now it is. But he switches target to go to the Tiger P instead. And he gets another direct hit. Now you can see he's slowly making his way towards the west, and it's getting a better angle for him on those enemy tanks. Especially as they're hugging the right side of the street. Okay, dialing in. It's the only pain we're having to move all the time. Fires the round in. And he did get a critical hit, but it's not showing on the screen. Oh, unfortunately, we just lost the IS-2 shielded, who thought it would be a clever move to go around the outside and outflank them, but unfortunately, he learned the hard way. It wasn't. And he got a close hit there. Not sure who the close shot was on. And they just lost another one. Okay, it's going to go after the Tiger P. It's going to have to be a splash because that guy's hiding, but he's changed to the T-29. And this time around he gets the direct hit for 90 hit points. Looks like the enemy RT has given up on trying to shoot him because he kept changing position. Okay, he knows the T-29 is in that little hole, but no, he can't hit him because he's too deep in. But he can probably splash the Tiger P instead. He's now looking to the north to the tree line, fires ahead of the MT-25, but he changes course. So he avoids that shot. It looks like the enemy RT has been trying to counter battery him because there are craters near where he's located at the moment. So good job that he's changing position every now and then. Object 244 can't go any further forward for the moment because there are enemies blocking the way, and the enemy team is up by one tank on us at the moment. Rounds out in the SU-100 and direct hit! He definitely hit the SU-100. That's gotta hurt. T-29 decided to try and pull the trick of the KV-2S. He's gone around the outside, but he actually did take a hit there. And I just noticed Ianthony did knock another tree down, which might give the enemy RT a show as to where he is. And we lost the 244. If the T-29 comes forward, Ianthony can get a shot into him. It looks like he's, well, we've lost sight of him now. We've got nobody else left in the town, so there's no point in focusing in that direction. So he fires in blind and changes position. Yeah, he's joining the Achilles, who's hiding amongst the trees. Say they're expecting the enemy to come near the cap now. They've got two heavy tanks, the Tiger P and the T-29, and I have the feeling Ianthony is actually making a little nest for himself of cover. Also fools the enemy RT as to where he is precisely, because if all the trees are knocked down, then it's difficult to tell which one was knocked down the most recently. Not that I recommend knocking trees down, so as you saw earlier, he did knock a couple of trees down and immediately got a response from the enemy RT. Okay, the first tank to turn up at the cap is an MT-25, but he's not staying in the cap. And the splash kill gets him. Yeah, he's definitely nest building. Either that or he's become a lumberjack. But that's okay. Sleep all night and work all day. Okay, it's nicely positioned, and the only enemy tank in sight at the moment is that SU-100. That's not the one that he hit earlier in the game, because that guy's got no hit points lost at all. There are 2 SU-100s in the game, but there's only 3 left on his team now. Our SU-100 is up the other end of the map, but he's not capping. He's actually going for the enemy Arty at the back of the map. The Achilles has gone close to the river and he's trying to kill the Tiger P, and he does so. That's good news. That means, oh, he just got killed by the T-29. Well, I think Ianthony's decided now the best thing. Oh, didn't realise that you'd actually have to jump over that. I think he's decided he's going to go north and actually try and cap at the other end. Either that or get a better position on the cap. At least he's not going to be where the enemy expects him to be. And they are capping. Now we know where that SU-100 is, but somebody is in the cap area. I wouldn't recommend firing from the castle grounds because it is fairly prominent. You're high up and easier to see. Okay, so he's aiming at the SU-100 at the other end of the map, being attacked by our SU-100. Rounds out. That looks fairly good, actually. Fairly good estimate. I doubt that there's any tank destroyers on this side of the map, but we definitely know that somebody's in the cap, and I suspect it's the T-29. He's almost inviting somebody to come near the cap so that he could then swap them. No easy shot from this position. Our SU-100 is now trying to go to get the reset. He's given up his tussle with the other SU-100. And I think, well, I'm not sure what Ianthony, if he's actually trying to go to the enemy cap or if he's trying to find a better position so he can shoot the cap area. But it appears he's going to try and get across the river. Oh! No, it's decided to stop here, and they've left it too late, and the enemy is capped out. So I'm afraid this one is a loss, even though Ianthony managed to get 3 kills. Let's have a look at the second replay. And in the second game, Ianthony is now on Live Oaks on a northeast spawn. Okay, now you can see clearly it's a rusty skin for the M44. It's such a lovely colour as well. Got our logo on the side. And he made that for us a couple of years ago. I think it was more than a few years ago. Okay, he's off to his firing position. He's gone into the bushes. Now, I'm afraid Ianthony back then was actually doing something rather naughty. Yes, he would shoot and then he would immediately look away. So I might have to take control of the camera. And we can see he fires at the Cromwell and he explodes near the spot where he was last seen. Okay, he's aiming towards the city, hoping they might catch one of the enemy tanks that are going in there. No sign of them so far. A quick look to the south. Rather unusual not to see so many enemy tanks this late into the battle. Almost 2 minutes have gone and only the Cromwell so far. Ah, last we see the Tiger 1. He fires. Oh yes, he's done it again, you see. I did get a critical hit on the Tiger, but obviously we didn't see the fall of shots, so I'm afraid I will have to take control of the camera. Ianthony has stopped doing that now, obviously. Ah, now you can see the Tiger's moving because there's destruction. There's the Tiger. He's aiming for him, and the shell lands next to the building. So it's reloaded 16.32 seconds at this moment. He's not using premium consumables, and yet again he's done it. He's fired and then looked away. Did do some damage, and we can see that damage on the Tiger 1 because you can see there's 2 impact points where the shells actually did hit the Tiger. Rounds out. Didn't see where that shell went. He's not making it easy for us to watch this replay by doing this. In fact, you make it very, very hard indeed. Rounds out on the Super Hellcat, and it lands long. Aiming towards the south. There's a couple of heavy tanks, a T-150 and an FB-201. It's going to go for the FB and fires around in. Direct hit! 163. Changed his aim and still going after the same tank. Almost loaded. And the FB is already dead, so he doesn't need to worry about that guy anymore. Unfortunately, all our tanks in the town have got wiped out. This is very bad news. Under these circumstances, normally the best thing for Arty to do is head south and yeah, try and seek protection of the trees and the water next to the nearby. I'm hoping that's what he's going to do. No, he's just changing position. Keeps changing target. Going for the Challenger. Rounds out. Direct hit. A nice hit that was. Oh, and the Challenger blows up when the T25AT finishes him off. His next target is the Cromwell. That Cromwell we saw earlier in the game. He's actually snuck around the lake and is actually hiding next to the house. And he did let us see that one. Got an IS on the outskirts of town, but it's the only one we can see. Well, we can see some damage being done. And he's aimed towards this house. Didn't see the fall of shot for that one. There's the IS again. Almost loaded. Rounds out. Destroys the house, but not sure he got the IS there. Of course, many would say that counter battery is absolutely necessary now. Well, not counter battery as such, but moving position after you shoot to avoid being counter batteried. And that's true because Wargaming have ruined the game by making these changes. Oh, and now that looked like a return fire shot from one of the enemy arties, or is it something else? Could be one of the animations that's wrong. There was an explosion. Oh, no, he has been hit by the enemy Arty this time. Yeah, he makes 13 F3, got 18 hit points off him. It's worked out where he was. Either that or he was seen. I don't think we saw the 6th sense go off. He's aiming towards the Leo. But he's been wiped out, so he's now going back to that IS. Rounds out. Lands in front of him for 18 hit points. Still staying with the IS. In fact, this is the last of the enemy tanks that are actually in the town. It looks like all the other ones have tried to get close to the gap and failed. Rounds out. Direct hit, 251, and he's killed the very next shot by the T25AT again. So that guy's doing rather well. He's got 4 kills already. Okay, we're looking to the south. We've got a Super Hellcat. Now he's almost fully dialed in. Rounds out. Oh, it was a direct hit. Oh, he killed him. He got an arsonist. He set light to the Super Hellcat and he was already low on hit points. So the shots and the fire finished the guy off pretty promptly. So that's his first kill in the game. Got a G2 up on the railway lines. Decided to come down the other side. Unfortunately, he's having to back away in that railway yard because the enemy's getting closer and closer to the gap. And an 88 has made its way across the swamp towards us. Rounds out. Direct hit. 166. That's a pretty good roll for an 88 because they're fairly heavily armoured. Now he's really backed into this corner now. In fact, one of our Artys, the SU8 or the other Arty in the game, is actually way too far south, and he went south to seek the protection of the water and the trees, but now he's one of the only enemies, one of the only friendly tanks facing the enemy coming up the railway line. You can't see the 88. There's the enemy G2. Gun slews around. Rounds out the G2. Well, it was a near miss. 44. Unfortunately, we lost the IS to the G2, and the next tank in that area is the SU8. And we can see that Ianthony fired a round in there, but we didn't see where it landed. There's the SU8 hiding in the water edge. He's got some trees in front of him to give him a bit of protection, but the problem is that if he tries to move to come north, the G2 will probably see him straight away and finish him off. So he's better off staying where he is for the moment and ambushing the G2 if he comes close. Meanwhile, over on the other side of the battlefield, we can see the AMX-13F3 moving. Can you get a shot? Rounds out. Oh, he did damage the AMX-13F3. That's one of the guys who's trying to counter battery him, and he's been spotted. Now that must be the 88 who saw him, because he was the closest. Yes, there he is. He's hugging that shed to stop the enemy Arty getting a chance at him. At least he's got the company of a Leo nearby to help. And the 88 is just crossing the gap at the moment. I don't think he's intending to try and cap out. Type 58. Going to round in. Oh! Again, he's fired and looked away straight away. There's the 88. He's just south of the railway station. And now we've just got this tower between us, the water tower, between us and the 88. And the 88 can't see us, but the enemy Arty can. And more than likely they're going to try and... Oh, he got a shotgun there. He tried a shotgun on the 88 and it worked. Okay, that enemy tank is the Type 58. He just got wiped out. He keeps moving about to throw off the enemy Arty. It looks like the 88 is going after the Leo. And unfortunately, it's the Hummel on the enemy team who gets the kill shot. So he's setting himself up for another shotgun. He does so on the 88. Oh my gum, it's the enemy Arty's turned up. Okay, can he traverse in time? Oh dear, badly hurt by the M44. But that guy's in reload, whereas Ianthony is not. He's got a fully loaded gun ready to go. Yeah, he's trying to scoot out of there as fast as he can. Unfortunately, it's the G2 who finishes off Ianthony. He had a good game, but it's now all down to the T25AT, which is a fairly heavily armoured tank destroyer. 90mm gun. You can get the 105mm gun. We'll have to see which gun he's got by how much damage he does each shot. Now this is the same guy who's actually been picking off some of the enemy tanks as they were coming out the town. He's already got a top gun. Only the one kill for Ianthony. He's facing 3 enemies, but none of them want to go into the cap. And with good reason, because if they do, they're going to get shot by this T25AT, Redland Tiger. And there's one of them. It's the G2. It's the only tank left on the enemy team. He's keeping his eye on both. Very difficult for the enemy Arty as well in that situation, because they are now kind of trapped. Oh, takes care of the G2 pretty promptly, gets spotted. It's pulling back to avoid any enemy RT fire, but unfortunately they probably will be able to arc a shell over the... yes, they did. He lost 286 hit points and his gunner. He needs to fix his gunner because he won't get a big reticule, a small reticule if he does try to shoot. Now, as far as we know, the M44 is the only one behind the railway station. We don't know the location of the Hummel, and there's the 2-minute warning. Now, the M44's got a 265 metre view range, so he's trying to approach the railway station under as much cover as he can, but I guess the feeling is at the moment he's going to sit there and wait until they start capping, but it's past the point that one RT could cap on his own, so the other RT has to turn up if he's going to help the enemy, his teammate, cap out. Of course, it's very possible that both RT will stay out of the cap and just try for a draw. I do believe that is the 105mm gun, actually. Well, that's the last minute hooter, and we're ticking down. 7 kills. That guy's on for a Top Gun and a Radley Walters if he can get one more kill. He really does need to drive in and try and take the kill off that M44. Running out of time. It's going to be a draw if he doesn't. I think he's left it too late now. That was an enemy RT shell landing near where he was before. And it is a draw. Oh dear. Didn't quite work out the way I expected. Let's have a look at the end of battle stats for both games. And here's the end of battle results. And it was an ace tanker for Ianthony in the M44 on Erlenberg in the first battle. He managed to get an arsonist because he set light to one of the enemy and watched them burn to death. He also got a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits in this one. He managed to get 21. And he also got a couple of medals, an epic one and a battle hero. He got a Gauze medal for doing more damage than 8 times the hit points for his own vehicle. And he also got a high caliber for dealing the most damage in the game. His win rate from the battle was 9,275. So let's have a look at the details and team scores. Well, there you go, top of the table with 3,782 hit points of damage. The next high scorer was SU100 on the enemy team with 2,580, and he managed to get a Confederate, and 2,452 went to the T29, and he picked up an Invader for capping out. When it came to kills, it was in fact the T29. He got 4 kills, 3 kills went to Ianthony, and 2 kills went to the KV2 and the SU-100s on the enemy team. When it came to base XP, it's the enemy team who does the best here, I'm afraid. The T-29 got 1200, the SU-100 got 944, and the MT-25 got 672? It is 672, but actually he was beaten by Ianthony, so actually he's third on XP with 820 because he got the highest damage. He got fired 26 shots, got 13 direct hits and 1 penetration, 24 splash. Damage of 3,782 hit points, all of it at more than 300 meters. He damaged 9 of the enemy, killed 3, and did 710 hit points of damage assistance and 230 hit points of stun assist off 23 stuns. On a premium count, he earned 57,701 credits, got 5,361 rather, for courageous resistance. That's because he got an epic or battle hero medal in a losing or drawn game, and it was a loss, this one. 63,062 credits altogether, and after ammunition resupply took away 49,932 credits profit. He got 24 bonds from the battle and 1,230 XP, 712 for courageous resistance, 971 from personal reserves, took away 2,913 experience points altogether. So a bit disappointing that it was a loss, but it was still an ace tanker game, and he still managed to punish the enemy really heavily. And of course he was actually watching where his shells were falling in this game, thankfully, so that actually enabled us to see what was going on. The Live Oaks game was also an ace tanker game for Ianthony, even though he wouldn't let us see some of the shots he made. He did get an arsonist again, this time from watching the Super Hellcat burn up, and he got a Bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits, and this time he got 19. He got another Gauze medal and another high caliber, and this time round he also got a Confederate, but sadly it was a draw. The win rate from this battle was 5,556. Let's have a look at team score. Well, yet again he's top of the table on damage, 2,843 hit points. The next high scorer was that T25AT, we got 2,699. Now really he should have just driven in and finished off that Arty. It would have given him his Radley Walters. He was just one tank away from getting it. I think he was just too worried that if he drove in and the M44 saw him, he would either shotgun him or the enemy Hummel would try to take him out. That's a bit of a pity, that, because it's a wasted opportunity. The big scorer on the enemy team was their T25-2. He managed to get 1,835 hit points, which puts him in third place on damage. When it came to kills, it's that T25-AT rather, who got 7 kills in the game. I'm afraid the next high scorers were the enemy team with Type 58, the Chi-2, and their getting 3 kills each. And then there was 3 tanks who managed to get 2 kills each, the IS, the SU-100, and also their T25-2. Ianthony only got the 1 kill. The single kill in the game was that Super Hellcat, which is a bit of a pity. When it came to base XP, he's top of the table because he did the most damage. 994 to Ianthony, 825 went to the T25-2, and the next high score after that was way down. That was the IS on their own team with 490. He fired 25 shots in this game, 11 direct hits, 1 penetration, 20 splash. Damage of 2,843 hit points, of which 2,749 were at more than 300 meters. So he did get some close range shots on the enemy 88. 2 hits received, 1 was penetration and 2 hits by way of splash damage. Yes, we saw the AMX-13F3 hit him, and we also saw the M44 hit him at close range, but that M44 just couldn't get a kill shot. He should have, by all rights. At that close range it should have been overwhelming, but well, I suppose actually it helped a certain amount that Ianthony was actually angled when the shell came in, and that's why it didn't really do as much damage as it should have done. He did spot 1 enemy vehicle, I think that was the M44, damaged 10 of the enemy, killed 1, did 207 hit points of damage assistance, plus 2,655 hit points of stun assist off 21 stuns, and that's probably gave him the ace tanker in this game. On a premium count, he earned 69,903 credits, got 5,361 for courageous resistance, 75,264 credits altogether, and after repair and ammunition resupply took away 60,439 credits profit. He also got 5 bonds and 1491 XP, 810 for courageous resistance, 1150 from personal reserves, took away 3451 experience points altogether. So two very different games. Unfortunately, neither of them was a win, but in each game he managed to get at least an ace tanker, gauze medal and high caliber. And in this one he also got the Confederate as well, which is a nice bit of extra, but you can see that Ianthony has a lot of skill. I just wish he would let us actually watch what happens to the shells when they fall. Now, I know that people will be moving to avoid counter battery in the future, but I still recommend to people, if you're going to move whilst you're still in aim view, so you can actually see what happens to the shell, just in case it hits the enemy tank, and because that will give you a clue as to where you can actually aim the next shell at the enemy. You might be able to splash them to death if you know you've already badly damaged them. So I hope you enjoyed both those replays, and if you did, please give this video a like, do subscribe to our channel, leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.